right.
Man, I'm thirsty.
Oh,
Wait, he
no.
caught it. He caught it. They use this Himalayan sea salt.
The Himalayan.
About that.
That's that good.
I'm Lex, and I'm here with Sam, the bull,
Making content
making content,
for Lex.
and with Dawn. What's your IG handle?
Vitamin Don Bosco.
Vitamin Don Bosco. Today we are interviewing Sam, and we're super excited because he's going to give us all the intel as to SMT, what started it, how it's going, how it's changed over time. So let's get started.
All
Okay.
right.
Don't sound too excited.
You're just tired.
Why are y'all tired?
We've been training all day.
Can you see us in sweat?
You did one class. Who are you?
I did 6 rounds before, and then I did class.
Are you okay?
I'm old.
Are you sick?
I am old.
First off, I always tell him he's old and he gets really upset.
I try to beat her to the punch.
So tell me a little bit about where you were before you decided to open SMT.
I worked in oil and gas for a long time. I hate saying I worked in oil and gas because when I say that, people are like, "Oh, you made money." No, I made people money. That's what I did. Worked for the same place for about 15 years. Don't have education. Worked in a shop, so kind of got capped out at a certain point.
Is that something you always wanted to do?
No, I've worked my whole life, so I've literally since I was probably like, I worked side jobs all the way. 16 is when I started working full time. I was telling you this earlier that I probably worked more from 16 to, I don't know, in my 30s. I probably worked more than most people have, and in their probably entire life, to be honest with you, just because working, training, teaching, all that good stuff. So, and I even had side businesses at the same time too, just to try to make means. So that's why when people come to me like, "You worked full time and you're training and fighting still?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did, and I did it well." So yeah,
What were some of those side businesses that you mentioned?
man, I got into I did plasti dip, office dip, which is like rubber coating for cars. I would work on people's cars, welding, really anything I could. Obviously, private lessons, all types of stuff. Really, selling gear, really anything I possibly can. To be honest with you, yeah.
Got you. So when, I guess, was opening SMT always part of the plan? Like, were you always going to open it?
Never.
Really?
Yeah, I did not. If you asked me 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago now, I guess, I would have told you no. I did not want to open up a gym. Saw the headache that other gym owners have had, and it's never really like money involved with it. And my biggest deal, even though concentrate a lot in fighting, I also concentrate at work so that I could feed my family. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I wanted the best in both worlds, not just one day I'm gonna cash in on some check of fighting over the years. I would never expect it. I just fought just purely, literally for the love of it, just to do it. So
So it really was a passion for you.
yeah, I mean, it still is. You know what I mean? But now I can feed my family doing that, so that's always a plus, I guess you would say.
When did that change? Like, when did you start, considering like, hey, this is something I see
So
myself doing?
I had a lot of people. One of my good buddies, Tristan, always spoke life into me and always told me like, "Hey, man, you have what it takes to do this." And he's an entrepreneur and does really well for himself. And he was an entrepreneur and said that you have what it takes to do it because anything I put my mind to, I can do it. And that's one thing as I do know about myself is I can outwork anyone in any field, whatever it is. Just don't ask me how to spell that, okay? Uh,
I got
yeah.
you. I got you.
Insert eye emoji.
Yeah. But yeah, he always spoke life into me. I had a few other people around me that have always like kind of believed in me. And when COVID happens,
Mhm.
I was at work and COVID. My wife got COVID and she couldn't. I couldn't go to work because she had COVID. So it was like those strict laws of like, 15 days, and then if you take a test and you can't come back. So it turned into a whole month ordeal. And I'll be 100% honest, I'm like a shark. If I'm not moving, like I feel like I'm dying. So wasn't able to do anything. I literally painted my entire house in 2 days. Literally was doing like freaking 14 hours a day, like was painting a house with a brush. But that being said, just saying like I can't stop moving. But I got so depressed. Like, if you ask me what fueled me to open up my own thing was literally being depressed.
Really?
Just straight up depressed. I've always dealt with that my whole life, but when you take your movement away from like you keeping that cycle of what's coming and going all the time, and you take that away, like that's when you're just kind of sitting there by yourself. And the one thing why I've trained and done so much is because when I'm not training, that's when you get depressed. That's when your mind starts eating at you. So I was always working. I was always doing side jobs. I was always doing practice. I was always fighting. I was traveling. I was doing those things. So when I'm doing those things, I'm not thinking of the freaking crap up top. You know what I mean?
Right.
So was at the house and I got super depressed. Like enough where I called Mark Beecher, and he's the biggest a hole in the world, but that is my a hole. Okay. Uh,
Got it. Mark, he's the owner of Hyena.
Hyena Muay Thai.
Okay.
Yeah. I told him, say, hey, I'm going through a lot right now. And he said, hey, come talk to me. And he was like, I was like, well, there's COVID in the house. He's like, bro, everyone has COVID. Come to the gym. Went and talked to him, and he was like, "Man, I've been wanting to talk to you about this, but I just didn't know what time." He said, "I feel like now's the time. If you're depressed at what you're doing, you have to do something about it." And I was like, "He's like, yeah." He's like, "I personally, I think you need to open your own." And I was like, "I don't feel like I could feed my family doing that." And he was like, "You can." He said, "The difference between me and you is people like you." And he's like, "I'm a good coach. I'm a good leader." He's like, "But I'm very forward, and people don't like me, and some people like me." And he was like, and people go to him because he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he does, and he's been in this industry for a very long time. Then you can't. The paper's there. It's not. There's no BS in it. It is what it is. But Mark is very much it's my way or kick rocks,
Okay.
and he's doing really well for himself. It's cool to be able to see him grow too as a coach and a friend. Basically, I went home. It was about a 45-minute home drive. I went home and I told my wife that
You were going to open
Let's
SMP.
do this dang thing.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,